Okay, legends, so simply put, the 7 primal or functional movement patterns are the foundation for any and all movement that occurs in our bodies. These movement patterns start to develop shortly after we're born, and we continue to depend on them for the entire duration of our lives. Because they are the building block for every single move that we make, the ability to do these movement patterns and do them properly and well is extremely important. The reality is, most of us have dysfunctional movement patterns, even ones that we're unaware of. The results tend to gradually get worse over time. The analogy I'll use is driving a car that's out of alignment. You're driving a short distance, low speeds, it's not really an issue. But as soon as you hit the highway, pick up the speed, you might feel a rattle or hear a rattle or shake or two. Similar to not getting your car maintenance, ignoring the small things for a long time can cause a chain reaction of dangerous and expensive problems. Our bodies are the same exact way. Things might feel okay or the pain isn't too bad until one day you notice you're not moving like you once could, or some things are harder to do than they should be. So proper movement pattern training can help avoid dysfunctional patterns from developing. So what are the 7 primal movement patterns? They are the squat, hinge, lunge, push, pull, rotation and anti-rotation, and carry. Now, if you refer to week 1 of our movement challenge, those movements are the first 7 days that you guys are gonna be tinkering around with. Don't worry, I'm about to break those down. I want you guys to know that even if you've never stepped foot in the gym or are not really working on fitness right now, you guys are doing these movement patterns every day. Some of them might be hard, but maybe it is time to start working on our fitness so that these things outside of the gym can become a little bit easier. So let's break down number 1, the squat. Yes, we can hold a weight, put it on our back, and do any variation of a squat, but you guys are also doing this movement every single day. Think about sitting down on the sofa, watching TV, or sitting down at the dinner table to enjoy a meal with a loved one, or having to go number 1 or 2 on the toilet, depending on who I'm speaking with. But the squat is a very functional movement. We need to be able to hinge at the hips as well as bend our knees to lower our bodies down. So that's day 1 for you. I wanted to start with something a little more familiar, but let me know if you have any questions. Same goes for all other 6 of the movements. So number 2, we have the hinge. Now, I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see this. We briefly talked about this movement before, but the hinge is gonna involve our hip complex. We need to be able to bend over at the hip without compromising our low back. So yes, we can do exercises that involve the hinge, such as an RDL or a deadlift, but a functional movement pattern of a hinge is bending down to pick up a small, lighter object off the floor. Or if you're a parent, what do you do to pick up your kiddo? We hinge at the hips to pick them up. Without having a strong posterior chain or that movement ability in our hips, that movement is not possible. All right, so movement number 3 is the lunge. Now, there are many variations of the lunge in the gym setting: forward, side, reverse, curtsy, you name it. You guys can all put load to make these harder. But you're probably wondering, I'm not lunging in my day-to-day life, which may be correct, but really the lunge refers to one leg being in a swing motion while the other leg is stabilizing. So you're essentially in a single leg stance for a portion of time. We do this when we're going up and down the stairs. Let's say you're on a hike and you have to step over a log so that you don't trip, but the ability to have lower limb control, that stability, as well as leg strength to transfer that energy to move forward, side, whatever it is, that's a movement pattern. So we've got the squat, the hinge, the lunge. Those are pretty much the lower body dominant movement patterns. The 4th movement is push. Well, in the gym, we've got exercise like a push-up or a push overhead. Why is that functional, guys? I hope you guys never have to push a dead car, but that upper body ability and strength to push something away from your body is important. Maybe not a car, but the ability to lift something over your head, think a box, and putting it in a cabinet drawer. That's a very functional movement. Fun fact, not really fun, it's actually quite sad. As we age, that's one of the first things, along with our hinge and squat ability, that as we age, seniors lose the ability to lift something above the head and put it forward. You'll see that they can't really raise their hands past shoulder height. So those are the first 4. Number 5 is pull. We have also a horizontal and vertical pull, just like the push. Think of a pull-up or a row in the gym, but outside of the gym, what do we do a pull? Well, think about pulling a dresser cabinet out, or sliding something heavy out of the truck bed, or God forbid, you're hanging off the side of the cliff. I hope you guys can hold on long enough until help comes your way. So that's the squat, the hinge, the lunge, the push, the pull. The recently added one is rotation or anti-rotation, otherwise known as twisting. This is going to refer to our core. Even if we're not necessarily isolating that twisting movement, the fact is life is 3D. We don't just move forward and back or side to side. There is that third plane, that rotational aspect. If you're playing sports, think about throwing a ball. You have that twist motion. Or let's say you have to turn to grab your seatbelt and put that on. There's your rotation. The core needs to not only have the mobility and ability to produce that force to pull, but also the ability to stabilize, to protect from over-rotation. That's where anti-rotation comes in. So the very last one is carry. That also involves our core as well as moving in any direction. An exercise for this is a farmer's carry, but this one's probably the easiest one to get. Best example I can give is taking your groceries from the car up the driveway to the front door. We need to be able to stabilize our body, have that upper body strength to hold whatever heavy is in our hands and propel ourselves forward stably, not so that we're tipping over from the weight of whatever we're carrying. Or if you have a heavy briefcase, you're taking something home from work, that's carry. So there you have it, your 7 primal functional movement patterns. Have fun, go nuts. If you guys don't have an exercise idea for that movement of the day, please send me a little something in Discord and I will help you out. But this one's basically up for interpretation. You guys can put some weights on it or do something fun with it. Show me how functional these movements are. Thanks guys, let me know if you have any questions. I will see you next week.